What is going on, guys? Welcome back to the channel. So today we're gonna do, probably a quick video just because I don't have a whole lot going on. I meant to make this a little bit more exciting, but things changed now because the alternator just crapped the bed on the BMW for the second time. Because the first time it was a bad alternator that came with the car. Tried changing it for one that I thought was good. I think it was in the trunk of the car when I bought it, and then so I found a used one, and the used one was more to test dimensions. And the guy said it quit working on him, but it worked for the last couple months on this thing, so it just died though. I noticed on the drive in the last 2 days, alternator light was on, or battery light was on, so I just checked it with the car idling, and she's only pushing 12 volts, so whatever. I just have something to put on the BMW at the moment, so after the last drift event, I just want to make some changes to the car. So one of the things is primarily going to be a steering wheel, because this one, the stock one, to me personally, very ugly. Also, this one is pretty chewed up, so it's falling apart. Just old car things, dudes wearing rings or whatever while driving it, tearing up the leather. So I had a wheel sitting in my I think it's on this side. I had a spare steering wheel from the Integra back here, actually, that I used to use way back when. So here it is right here. Nice little red, used to be suede, now it's just kind of flat, but red to go with the red seat. I think it'll look really awesome. It's the newer version of the NRG, because if you guys remember back in the day when NRG wheels used to really suck, that dude in blue made that video where he was messing with his and his bent and broke, and then NRG sent everybody a bunch of replacements. Well, this is one of those replacements. So I've had this thing for a few years now, and I changed it out because I didn't like it on the Integra after a while. So now I just realized that I have it, because the issue with this wheel, other than it's falling apart, is when I was letting the car do its thing, letting the wheel flick around, my fingers just kind of kept getting held up on all these things. So I wanted the dish, so that way it would be a little bit better. So we got a hub, we got a quick release, already had the steering wheel, so let's slap it together. As you guys could probably guess, the hub of choice and the quick release of choice are just NRG. I've used their stuff on all my cars. I have it on the Integra. I've had it on there for almost 10 years. I have this currently on my S2000, so it's good solid stuff. Like, we're not going, freaking full FIA spec, which they actually do offer now, and this is nice new forged quick release and stuff, and the nice hub. Then this one on these cars, this is the one that allows it to keep the turn signal stuff, so it'll keep the clock spring and all that intact. So yeah, do that pretty easy. I think I've had this wheel off once before. You got to take the little back plastic pieces off. A little hard to show you because it's tucked back in here. And then obviously disconnect your batteries so that way your airbag doesn't deploy. My horn doesn't work, so I'm not worried about hooking those up. I'm just worried about making sure the turn signals still work. So everything should be pretty straightforward. Again, pull the black, or there's a couple of screws, I forget what they're like T20s or something back here. So pull those off. Again, airbag disconnected, and then once that's off, this will come off, and then I believe it's like an 18mm nut. All right, turns out it's actually a T27, and it's on there pretty tight. So T27 screws are right there. It's 2 of them, so yeah, it's actually super duper tight, unfortunately. At least mine was. I thought I had taken this thing off during the manual swap because I was doing something up here, but I don't know with how tight these things are. It feels like they've definitely never coming off. So do that and loosen them, and they'll just fall out the back. But you can see it's already almost off. All right. So disconnect those wires and be careful not to mess this thing up in there, because that's your clock spring, and if you mess that up, kind of SOL. All right, so it is a 16mm. So do that. Safekeeping, and then you're gonna want to wiggle this guy off. Obviously, make sure your wheel is as straight as you can get it. So mine's pretty much there already, and I have my battery unplugged, so key out so it locks. Yeah, pull this off. I need 2 hands though, because maybe not. Oh, there we go. And then you're gonna have your spring back here, your connector, so that's for your clock spring, so take that out. On this particular setup, I just went ahead and took this thing off. It just clips on. This is like basically your airbag warning, it looks like. So you need these wires, because this is for the clock spring stuff that goes onto the steering wheel, well, I guess the hub for the horn, whatever. But so this, you need this screw off here. It is a T10, so this is basically your ground. So we'll pull that guy off, and then once you pull that guy off, again, sorry for not showing you, this is two-handed and I don't have my tripod, so pull this off. And then on the back side here, you will have 3 more screws. I already took the 2 out, and then this is your whole clock spring setup. And then you'll just take this off and you will bolt it to the 3 bolts that are on the back side of your hub here. This is a 328i, so I think 325s are different and maybe M3s are different, or vice versa. But yeah, so then you can see this little bolt hole right here. This one is for the ground wire that I just showed you. So you'll just feed it through this open spot and orientate it, you know, accordingly. So pretty much like that, and then bolt it up, screw everything down, and the hub's on. Okay, so there's the clock spring. And this will orientate itself pretty much just like that. Apparently it's a pretty normal issue with these BMW ones. It's like they just, you know, never went back and corrected it. So the tap, this is too big of a hole, and the wire here is too small of a crimp to fit the next size up. So I guess we're just gonna leave it alone for now, and if we have issues, we're gonna have to come back and revisit it, maybe give them a call. But in the meantime, go ahead, snug this up. So should be good, doesn't take crazy torque. Feels like it's good, it's not binding at all. So next up we put the lower portion of, you know, the quick release on. So my horn didn't work before, but just in case it's just a fuse, I've never really looked into it. I'm gonna go ahead and put the grounding ring on. So this is going to go with this guy, you know, obviously female to male, and then this red, brown reddish wire here is gonna go on the you know, the male side of the connector here. So yeah, pretty straightforward. We'll bolt this up. It comes with the hardware, you know, right here, these M6x10, I believe these are Allen keys. So, or, you know, socket head Allen screws. So let's put that together. So hardware, like I said, 3mm bolt, or 3mm Allen head. Again, my wires aren't plugged in. So, I mean, they are, but they're not. I just don't think they're gonna work. So I'm hoping there's no SRS light, because I didn't really do the resistors that came in the box. But if there is an SRS light, I'm just gonna pull the cluster and disconnect it, because it doesn't worry me at all. This is my drift car, so it's not a huge deal. And then there's no state inspections for that where they're gonna see it here in Arizona, so I'm not massively worried about it. But for you guys, this might be a different issue. And for that, I'm honestly not sure why NRG made the hub this way, but it's worth giving them a call. I might message, because I bought the hub through FCP Euro, I might inquire and see why, you know, certain things on this don't actually line up, or, you know, don't fit, because the hub, or the clock spring to the hub, there's only one of the 3 bolts that fit. It's just like machined wrong or something, so it is what it is. But you know, whatever. So snug these up. I don't know the torque spec for them. I've always just done them nice and snug, because they are very fragile and they will round out pretty easily on you. So take it with a grain of salt. But this is pretty much it. I mean, other than bolting the steering wheel on. So I, again, already had a wheel, so I had to go out and buy new hardware right here. So I just went to Ace and got matching hardware to this, just mild steel, because it's black instead of stainless where it's, you know, silver. So let's put the wheel on next. Well, the install is pretty much done. Wheels bolted on, so let's put that on. So yeah, I mean, it does sit quite a bit closer to me, but I think that's how I'm gonna like it. And of course, you know, worst case, they do sell short hub like releases. But yeah, no, this is essentially what I wanted. So I wanted the wheel closer to me, and I wanted more openness. And I totally forgot that even if my horn was working, I don't have a horn button for this steering wheel, so it is what it is. But yeah, quick release is in. I would go drive it and, you know, slide around a little bit, but my freaking, you know, alternator's dead, so I don't want to ruin my battery. So I'm gonna go ahead, I guess, let's turn the key forward really quick, see if there's a SRS light, shall we? So I just hooked up the battery again. So, well, nothing seems to be, you know, on. So I think we should be good. Honestly, I'm not too concerned with it. Like I said, you know, if it comes on, I pull the cluster, pull the bulb, is what it is. But for you normal guys, yeah, might want to look into that. But as of right now, there's no lights. So I'll fire it up for a moment. Just because I do have to move the car out of the way really quick to apparently take the Integra home back there. So yeah, no lights other than my check engine light and my, you know, service thing, because this is a manual swap and I still got to figure that part out. But yeah, I mean, we're looking pretty solid. So I'm going to keep these little spare tiny little bolts just in case. But otherwise, yeah, I think we're doing all right. Doesn't sound like nothing's binding, so yeah, feels pretty good to me. Freaking awesome, because it looks so much better now too, and it's a little bit easier to get out, because with the, you know, the bucket seat in here, of course, it's always a little bit more difficult to get in and out. So of course, there we go. Yeah, I mean, I guess that more or less wraps it up for this thing. So I do have more stuff to put on the car. I'm just not going to do it today. I do have a new Guibo or a Jubo, flex disc, whatever you want to call it, to change out, because mine, you know, it's pretty dry rotted. Oh yeah, let me show you what we just did to the Integra, because now that this thing's got the nice new steering wheel in here, we put the other Brom into here. So it actually looks so good in here with the blue and the black. But I had the stock seat in here before and it just wasn't cutting it, especially for when we were trying to go to the track. But yeah, we're looking pretty solid. So yeah, alternator is obviously due on this guy, but I see the alternator lights, the battery light's not flashing right now, but it will. It definitely will. But I don't really know, guys. I'm gonna just wrap this video up here. Quick little steering wheel install. In the next video, we're hopefully gonna get some more stuff done. I do have to fix an exhaust leak on the Integra. And then, you know, obviously now I changed the alternator on this thing, so I gotta find money for that. Do the Guibo flex disc drive shaft thingy, and then hopefully go slide some more, because, well, I gotta build a harness bar too. So I don't know, I was gonna try and do a drift event this coming weekend, but I don't think it's gonna happen now that I gotta dump so much money into this thing. But we'll see, who knows. If I get some good jobs in or make a few sales, we'll have something going. So anyways, guys, thanks for spending some time out of your day with me. I know kind of a shorter, more video, but I just want to get something out. I didn't film for like a week because I was waiting on the footage for the drift event, and I'm still waiting on it at the time of this video, which is a little over a week from it. So we'll see if I ever get it. Anyways, you guys, do what you love, forget about the rest. We'll see you in the next one. Peace out.